Hey, what's good, fam? Stop everything. I'm about to drop a story so out of pocket, so shockingly real, you'll think I'm making it up. But trust me, every detail is verified. Picture this: the US military, the global powerhouse that invented stealth technology and built those massive supercarriers formally proposed a weapon designed to make enemy soldiers fall in love with each other? Seriously. Like, swoon. I'm not joking. This is the documented, classified, and utterly ludicrous story of the gay bomb. It's not some internet conspiracy theory, folks. It's a 3-page proposal that sat on a desk di-Pentagon. This whole scenario is the most chaotic version of make love not war you could ever imagine. If you want to know the truth behind this infamous absurd weapon, you gotta stick around, because the details are pure bonkers, and they only get weirder from here. To understand how an idea this wild even got written down, we need a bit of context. Let's rewind to the early 1990s. The Cold War is basically done. The era of focusing on world-ending nuclear exchanges that mutually assured destruction vibe is over. The military's focus shifted. They weren't always looking to obliterate cities. Sometimes they just needed to disable, confuse, or inconvenience the enemy troops in smaller, localized conflicts. This was the boom time for non-lethal weapons research. The goal was surgical disruption without the messy, headline-grabbing casualties. Military labs were basically in their creative era, throwing everything at the wall. They explored some truly fringe concepts. We're talking about real, documented ideas that sound like bad movie plots. Race-specific stink bombs, chemical odors designed purely for harassment, and targeted disruption. Acoustic weapons, tools to generate focused sound waves that cause nausea, disorientation, or temporary loss of bowel control. Yeah, seriously. The bee marker, a plan to spray powerful pheromones onto specific enemy targets so that swarms of aggressive bees would attack only those marked individuals. But even among that parade of absurdity, the proposal we're here for, the gay bomb, was the main character. It wasn't about pain or nausea. It was about psychological chaos using a deeply personal human instinct: attraction. Narrator. The birthplace of this viral footnote in history was the Wright Laboratory in Dayton, Ohio. This was ground zero for the Air Force's research into crazy weapons. In 1994, a group of scientists there submitted a formal 3-page proposal as part of a review on non-lethal warfare options. And there it was, sitting in the third category of non-lethal, incapacitating agents, the concept that the media later dubbed the gay bomb. The mechanism was simple, but the logic was spectacularly flawed. The idea was to create an aerosolized chemical weapon, basically a giant, military-grade spray filled with potent aphrodisiacs. Specifically, they planned to use synthetic sex pheromones that would act fast and powerfully. The goal? To spray this cocktail over enemy troops, causing them to become sexually irresistible to their own comrades. The official military theory was that this sudden, chemically induced attraction would totally wreck morale, cause widespread disruption of unit cohesion, and leave the soldiers too distracted by their new feelings to, wage war. Think about the sheer audacity. The military was essentially planning to deploy a love potion as a weapon of mass distraction. The documents confirmed they requested a massive $7.5 million in funding over a 6-year period to research and develop this chemical agent. Millions of dollars to figure out how to make 2 guys on the front line start seeing hearts instead of targets. It was described in the proposal itself as distasteful but completely non-lethal. The brass knew it sounded weird, but the potential strategic payoff was too intriguing to ignore. For years, the gay bomb was just an obscure, weird, forgotten failure hidden deep within the Pentagon's archives. It never got funded, and it certainly never got deployed. It was a complete ghosting by the military-industrial complex. But in the world of government secrets, there is always a way for the truth to pop off. Enter the Sunshine Project. This small, powerful watchdog organization is dedicated to monitoring the development of chemical and biological weapons. They knew that sometimes the craziest secrets are the ones buried deep in bureaucratic paper trails. In the mid-2000s, they filed a massive Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request, demanding access to documents related to non-lethal psychochemical research. And when those documents landed, the world collectively went, "Wait, what?" The 3-page proposal was right there. It was verified, government-stamped proof. The military couldn't just brush it off as a rumor. The news instantly went global, exploding across headlines from BBC to The Guardian. The Pentagon, predictably, went into damage control. They confirmed the document's existence, but swore up and down that the idea was rejected immediately, and funding was never provided. Basically, they tried to play it off as a bad brainstorm idea that went nowhere. But here's the key takeaway. The simple, undeniable fact is that the proposal was legitimate enough to be formally submitted and reviewed by high-level researchers. The sheer existence of the document sent shockwaves, sparking worldwide discussions about the ethical and scientific limits of military fantasy. It proved that in the name of strategic advantage, the military would consider anything. The public reaction was a mix of pure disbelief and uncontrollable laughter. It was too absurd to take seriously, and yet too real to ignore. The story was so utterly ridiculous that it earned a special place in the annals of weird science. In 2007, the proposal was awarded the satirical Ig Nobel Peace Prize. For those who don't know, the Ig Nobel Prize celebrates scientific achievements that first make people laugh and then make them think. It's an honor reserved for the most bizarre, yet officially documented studies. The prize was awarded to the Air Force S. Wright Laboratory for instigating research and development on a chemical weapon that will make enemy soldiers become sexually irresistible to each other. Winning the Ig Nobel cemented the gay bomb as an iconic military FLOPA legend of scientific and strategic overreach. But the critique wasn't just comedic. Serious critics and scientists, like Aaron Belkin, quickly pointed out the massive flaw. The idea was ludicrous because the scientific basis was non-existent. So, let's get into the tea of the science for a sec. Could this bomb actually work in the real world? Could a pheromone spray really turn a battlefield into a chaotic love fest? The short answer, according to modern biology, is a massive, definitive no. The whole proposal was built on a flawed understanding of human biology and sexual attraction. Yes, pheromones exist. They're chemical signals used by many animals like insects and mice to trigger specific, predictable behaviors, often related to mating. But here is the science fact drop you need to know. There is zero peer-reviewed scientific evidence that human pheromones can cause the kind of rapid, uniform, and profound behavioral changes the Wright lab was banking on. Human sexual attraction and behavior are ridiculously complex. They are rooted in genetics, culture, personal experience, and psychology. You can't just hit a simple biological switch with a chemical spray to override years of training, discipline, and most importantly, the basic survival instinct when under fire. This proposal was truly a case of science fiction meets Cold War panic. It was a desperate attempt to find an easy button for warfare. It was a scientific fantasy that thankfully never made it off the drawing board, proving that not every single crazy military idea is feasible or even sane. The story of the gay bomb is more than just a funny historical note. It's a powerful reminder of a few crucial things. First, the power of transparency. Without the Sunshine Project and the FOIA, this incredible bizarre secret would still be locked away. A moment of government absurdity lost forever. It shows that even the most powerful institutions can be held accountable, and that the biggest secrets are often the most ridiculous. Second, it reveals the extreme and sometimes desperate lengths to which governments will go to avoid conventional conflict. They weren't just thinking outside the box, they were thinking on another planet entirely. The file on the gay bomb may be closed, but the question remains wide open. If this is the stuff that got out, what other mind-bending bonkers proposals are sitting in a classified file cabinet right now, just waiting for the next FOIA request? What secret projects were complete flops, and which ones actually did work? Drop a comment below, and let me know your thoughts. Is this the craziest piece of military history you've ever heard? If you're vibing with this kind of top-tier content, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next wild, shocking, and totally real story we uncover. Peace out.